Hey everybody, it's Tina. Oh boy, it has been so long since I've made a video, and I thought, especially after what I posted on my Twitter last night, I felt I should really create a video to kind of explain where that was coming from, because you can kind of read into something the wrong way, and I kind of want to let you know where those intentions are coming from. And to let you know that it's not ill-intended in any way, nor am I trying to throw religion or anything down anybody's throat. So, with that said, let's get started. I used to do a lot of videos, and it's been quite a few years since I've done any, and I'm going to try to start doing more of them now because the need has become greater, and I've learned that through my academics and professional life and just being out in real life. And now with this social isolation stuff going on, I see that mental health issues and health issues are becoming significant, not just with having the COVID, but also with the social isolation process, how it can affect your psyche, how it can affect your emotional well-being, and your eating habits, which can influence your health. I mean, a very healthy person who can't get out and do all the things that they used to do are now, having to rely on other things to occupy their time, which are not always the most healthy. So, yeah, so I get it. I get it from a psychological aspect. I get it from a medical aspect. And I'm here to help any way that I can. Anyway, just like my Twitter says, hit me up if you need a friend, if you need a confidant, if you need support, guidance, education, resources, any way that I can help you, please do. And first, let me apologize about my voice. I've been losing my voice so much lately. You could think that allergies and respiratory issues and daily migraines and lack of sleep. So thank you for all that, you guys, for not letting me have a voice most of the time. But for the most part, this is what I sound like. But as you hear the crackling and stuff, you'll know why. So anyway, I just wanted to let you know that I'm not trying to be seductive in talking to you or anything. My throat hurts and I'm losing my voice. I didn't sleep last night again, so that's what's going on. Anyway, so let me start by telling you who I am, so you're not wondering, like, well, who is this chick, and why does she think she can tell us things, and why should we even believe anything she says, and what credibility does she have? All fair questions. So I'm going to do my best to answer those. First off, I'm not going to tell you how old I am, but I just had a birthday on October 15th, and I don't want to tell you how old I am because I love when people say I look much, much younger than I really am. So, yay for me. I come from California, the San Francisco Bay Area, Northern California. But I live in Texas now and have for many years. And we spent a lot of time here growing up. So when I wanted to finish my undergraduate degree and I couldn't do Berkeley for, I can't remember, whatever reason, I wanted to do Texas A&M because school in my family is pretty non-existent. And as you know, in the Hispanic culture, family is very close, even extended family. I mean, your third cousin could really be your aunt, or, a comadre could be your aunt. I mean, it's just that close. So throughout my family, I don't think everybody even finished high school, let alone get a college degree. So with the exception of one cousin that I know of, in Denton, Texas, that I don't even really know him. I knew his dad very well, but not really him because he was estranged from his dad. But other than him, I've achieved the highest educational level. And that was against all odds because where I was born in what we called in California, and I guess they call it here in Texas too, but it was different back in California, the barrios. I was a barrio kid. I grew up in the barrios, and I was a street kid, and I had all the odds stacked against me. Money, we weren't rich at all. We were on the poor side. Mom and Dad worked real hard. I grew up in a very dysfunctional family, though. Lots of violence, lots of drugs, lots of, excuse me, I don't know why I keep hiccuping, but lots of dysfunction. A lot of penal code offenders, a lot of crime, gangs, robberies, mafia, or what do they call it? Organized crime, and just murder. I mean, you name it. I was around it, raised around it. I mean, the fact that I came out the way I did was definitely against all odds, and by the grace of God and some great parents who were not always great, but they ultimately made some very good children, because me and my siblings turned out to be A-okay. Even if we're not highly successful, we're successful in other ways. So, I have relatives who will never see the light of day again, except from the prison windows and yards. So there you go. It's a little bit about my background. I have 34 years as a psychological or psychiatric clinician, however you want to call it, which about 10 of those was nursing. So I have a nursing medical background as well. And I have done everything from direct service provision to case management to nursing to director level. So I'm very well versed in psychology, and I adore it. I love it. It's a great passion of mine. So, and also just to let you know, if you see me moving around a lot, it's because I have a lot of energy, positive energy, but I have a lot of energy, so I get kind of restless sitting still too long. So you might see me fidgeting or moving around a lot. So, but anyway, and I'm tired. I haven't slept. So anyway, that's a little bit about me and some of my hobbies that I love. Anything to do with movies, especially Robert Pattinson. And which is funny, because if I move just a little bit, you can see Robert behind me, and that's just one picture of Robert. I love Robert Pattinson. But I'm not obsessed crazy, I'm not going to go stalk him and think that one day I'm actually going to be Mrs. Pattinson or anything like that. It's just, I adore him, and I have even before Twilight. I have movies of his from when he was first starting out doing indie movies, and then when he was younger doing the Harry Potter stuff. So I got pictures of him everywhere. But then, of course, I also have James Dean and Elvis and all my rockabilly stuff too. So there you go. That's a little bit. It tells you about what kind of like music and stuff. I like all kinds of music, everything. I don't listen to a lot of new stuff, really, to be honest. I'm more old school, but there is some new music that's actually pretty good. But I do like to stay away from the gangster rap, except that of when NWA came out in the early 90s, and I was still young, and we used to cruise to that music. That was fun. So, the streets of California saw us a lot, cruising to NWA and Rob Bass and, oh God, all those good rappers back in the day. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm digressing. I love anything to do, like I said, with music, movies, and water. I'm a certified scuba diver since '97, and I love anything to do with the water. I love sports, watching them and playing them, and yes, I have my favorite teams for every sport. And I love motorcycles, I love tattoos, and I have several, and I'm not done yet. And they all have symbolism for me, whether it's spiritual or otherwise. I can find symbolism in everything. In fact, my colleagues in California used to tell me that I had a special gift, that I could find beauty and value in anyone, anything, any situation. And that's true. That's just an inherent trait that I have. And I'm grateful that I've been given that, because it has allowed me to serve others well and to make a real difference, a positive difference in people's lives. So that's great. And let's see, what else? Oh, I love motorcycles. I love arts. Oh, I love the arts, especially I love going to museums. I love going to plays, musicals, operas, anything like that. And I love Renaissance art. One of my favorite is Degas. Of course, Renoir was one of them, but Degas' Glass of Absinthe is one of my all-time favorite paintings, and it sits in the Louvre in Paris, France. So one day I will go see the original Degas, and just go to Europe, period. I mean, I've been wanting to go forever. My passport's never been used. Isn't that sad? Anyway, unless you want to consider the border towns of Mexico, I've never been out of the country, and I don't consider those border towns of Mexico to be anything. I hate them for the most part. Not the people mostly, but some of the people, because they're bad. They're offenders who have personally offended. So I'll leave it at that. So basically that's it about me. Okay, so I gave you about my credentials, a little bit about me. Oh, I've never been married. I rarely date. Constantly involved in a quest for knowledge. I have 3 degrees. 2 of them are psychology and nursing based, and my last one is a master's in business administration. I'm currently working on my doctorate in psychology, which has given me new insight into the LGBTQIA plus society. I'm a member of groups that have to do with that, and it's always been a part of my life anyway. Growing up in a place like the San Francisco Bay Area, you're going to be around a lot of people in that community, and they were much more open, even back in the 80s. And I was around during all that AIDS stuff, when it first came out and all the people were dying and when they didn't know what it was. And then I even wrote a report on it in high school. There I go, I'm aging myself. About Rock Hudson when he died from AIDS, and, just all this. And I was very open with my friends that I had in college. College too, but high school. I had transgender friends even before transgender was a name, before they had a name for it. I had openly homosexual friends. I welcome diversity of any kind. I loved it. Different cultures, different nationalities, ethnicities, lifestyles. I love to learn about that, and I embrace diversity with everything that I am, truly. So, I've been a member of the LGBTQIA community before it had all those alphabet letters in it, when it was just you were either gay or you weren't, or you were a cross-dresser. I mean, they didn't know what transgender was. Transsexual, yeah, that was kind of out there about that time. Even when you look historically at people like Harvey Milk and all these other people who pioneered back in the 70s and 60s and stuff, for the rights, the civil rights of the LGBTQIA plus community. It's a long time. And I know from recent studies, and recent being in the last few months, and being a part of academic and professional groups for LGBTQIA plus members, that we've come a long way. I have seen that. It's more accepting, but there's still a long way to go. And that comes straight from my academics of peer-reviewed journals and, graduate level work and consultation with other graduate professionals, PhDs and such. So anyway, the reason why I wanted to make this video also, not to just reintroduce myself back into my video society, because I do plan to do more videos. And by the way, on that note, if you have a video you want me to talk about, any kind of subject matter that's psychology based or social based or whatever, let me know. Drop me a message. I'll be glad to do it. I will research if I have to, or I can just share the benefit of my experience and knowledge regarding the subject matter, depending on what it is. Okay, I'm here for you. I'm here to help you. That's why I say on my Twitter, which is Tina FTX. So it's TINAFTX. TX. That's my Twitter handle. So follow me if you like, because most of my followers are from the LGBTQIA society or advocates and allies of such. And I tend to use followers if I tend to get too religious or I get too much on to one subject, and I need to learn how to equal it out better. So that's what I'm also working on. So that's why I intend to have more diverse videos to help people. I just really want to help people. And trust me, I'm not going to charge you. I just want to be there. I just want to be helpful. That's what I'm here for. And, so that's what it says on my Twitter, hit me up if you need a friend. So if you need support, advice, consultation, anything, just, message me. Okay, so the inspiration for what I posted on my Twitter, that paper that talks about the LGBTQI society or community and religion, and how the two can intertwine and intermingle successfully, even through historical woes. And here is my argument about that, okay? First off, I was born and raised a Catholic, and I diverted from my religion so many times. I never completely lost my faith that there was a creator, but I did not go to church like I should have. I was too busy focusing on all the hypocrites that were going to church and out there preaching the word, yet they were living lives that were against everything they were preaching for. And, and a lot of them were my own family. I mean, they were Eucharistic ministers on Sunday, but I know they were on Friday and Saturday nights. They were drinking, drugging, sexing, and doing everything else. But yet they would show up as perfect citizens on Sunday. That stuff used to piss me off. And then in the late 90s, pastor told me, when I told him I didn't go to church and why I didn't go to church, he said, well, you're looking at the wrong people. And I kind of knew what he was talking about at the time, but I just didn't give it a lot of thought because it wasn't a priority for me at that point in my life. So what I did was instead just continue with my life, continue to make a lot of bad decisions. And I made some good ones too, educationally, professionally, things like that. But I also made a lot of bad decisions personally, on people that I would be with, and guys I dated, and, other people I dated, and, just whatever, just made a lot of bad decisions. And so I don't date a lot, and that's why I've never been married, and I never had children of my own, but I helped raise many. I'm everybody's godmother, or Nina. Nina in Spanish means godmother. Right now, I'm helping raise two wonderful godsons. They just turned 6 and 7. They are the joys of my life. And so is my niece and / goddaughter, who's 17. And I've also helped raise my brother's children. So yes, of course, I thought about fostering and adopting because the need is very much there. But the only capabilities I have to do that at this point is with the fur babies. I have 5 rescued fur babies, and they're not the only ones that I rescued. My other ones had passed on due to old age. So when one would pass on, I would replace it with another one and another rescue and save another life. Because that's the only way I'll get my babies, is if I rescue them and, save their lives and stuff. So, I have an itch. Anyway, yes, I'm sinking into my seat. The reason I decided to do that is because I wanted to explain some things to you. The thing I posted about LGBTQIA+ and Jesus. First off, there is nothing wrong with you. Nothing at all. No matter what you've been told, no matter what you're being told, there is nothing wrong with you, and science has proved that over and over again. Okay? And on that note, I know that you have suffered as a result of being a part of that community by people who claim to be religious. Okay? I know that. I've seen it. I've witnessed it. I've been a part of it. It's like, oh my God. And it was worse back in the day. Today it's more accepting. And I'm not saying the bullying is any easier, but I was bullied too. And then I did a kind of a turnaround around 11th grade, and I started protecting people who were being bullied instead, and I earned a new respect there, so just know that I know what that's like, okay? And basically, I want you to know that, yes, I'm a spiritual person. I guess I could say I'm kind of religious, but I'm very spiritual, more so. And I find solace and serenity and harmony I use the church more as a sanctuary than I do as a place to worship, because you can worship anywhere. You can worship in your bedroom, in your car, while you're driving. It doesn't matter. God does not care where you worship him, just as long as you worship him with a true heart, that you really mean it. And trust me, he will hear you, and he will bless you when he realizes that you are maintaining a lifestyle that he has given for you, okay? Now, a lot of atheists and agnostics, atheists are people who don't believe, agnostics are people who doubt or sort of don't believe that there is a God or Jesus or anything. They will be the first ones to say, well, if there is a God and he's supposed to be a loving God, then why does he let all this evil happen in the world? Well, there's no real answer for that. I mean, who can really answer that but God himself? But I can tell you a theory that I have, okay? And that a lot of Christians have. And that is, even though I'm a Catholic Christian, I'm still Christian. And that is that God gave people free will. Man chose to do evil with that free will, when most men, anyway, as a whole, chose to do evil. I mean, think about it. Some of the worst things in history that you've learned in history class or are learning have been done in the name of religion. But that ain't done by Jesus or God. That's done by people who are creating religions based off of self-serving needs. And that begs to another question. Why are there so many religions out there when they all claim to have the same thing, or have the same meaning? To love Jesus and to live his ways, the ways that he lived, loving and not judging and accepting and forgiving and all that good stuff, Why are there so many religions that differ if they all have the same cause? I'll tell you why. Because they each have self-serving motives. They are created by people who take parts of the Bible, who then take parts of the Bible and twist it and contort it to meet whatever it is they want to have control of in their life. They want to have more wives. Some of them turn into cults, but they want to have more wives. They want to have, polyamory. They want to, and I ain't saying there's anything wrong with polyamory. If, consenting adults want to do that, hey, more power for you, but what I'm saying is basically is that there's self-serving issues behind the creation of different religions. They take pieces of the Bible that serve their purposes and how they want to live, and they contort it and twist it, and then they get people to believe and follow them that the same way they do, so they can lead and continue to live the life that they're living, and most of them are hypocrites. And that goes even to conversion therapy, which is also religiously based. A lot of you are probably thinking, oh, hell, church, no way. Man, I was sent to a conversion therapy. Now, some of you young people may not know what that is. I think there's still some around, but I can tell you that back in the 70s and 80s and before, there were conversion therapies. And there's movies, true stories about people who had gone through conversion therapies. And the problem with conversion therapies is they don't work. You cannot change somebody who is who they are. They were born that way. They are who they are. You cannot change someone into being something that they were not meant to be. And the funny thing is that, again, it's hypocritical, because a lot of people who are running these conversion conversion therapy programs were gay themselves. So a lot of those programs have gone away, because the people who were leading them and the homosexuals that they were trying to change all decided to just basically live their truth because they were miserable, and gave up the conversion therapy thing because they knew it didn't work and it was just a ploy. And they ended up just coming out. It was funny. The leaders of these churches ended up coming out. So, I mean, church may not be the thing for you. It wasn't for me for a long time. It really wasn't. But I would go in and do adoration, which is one-to-one time in a chapel of a church with you, just you and the Lord. Of course, there might be a few other people sitting in there, but it's a very small chapel, and it's meant to be a very personalized session with the Lord. And it is very powerful, trust me, much more powerful than sitting in a pew with a church full of sinners who are there asking for forgiveness so that they can create the same sins the following week, And I joke about it because, I mean, I don't take religion so seriously that I say, you need to do this and you need to do that and you need to believe this and you need to believe that. And if you don't, you're going to be condemned to death. No, I don't believe any of that. And I don't think Jesus believed in any of that. I know he didn't. And a lot of atheists and theists who actually believe in Jesus and all that are burdened with the same argument that if, how did creation start? I mean, even Darwin explained, that, it was a big bang and maybe some lightning hit a stagnant pool of the right chemicals and created something out of nothing. And even Stephen Hawking, one of the most brilliant professors out there, who was professor in Cambridge, even said that because of gravity, nothing can come out of, things can be created out of nothingness. But he also stated that philosophy is dead. So even atheist philosophers who were once diehard Christians found that reasoning faulty, even when they believed so hardly in atheist Stephen Hawking's beliefs. Now, I'm going to tell you, the reason why I bring up religion and how it can positively coexist with the LGBTQIA plus lifestyle is because it can, and it has for many, many years. It's just a lot of times it's just been hidden. But I want you to know it's a very personal relationship between you and your Lord, which hopefully will be Jesus. And how you choose to worship him is between you and him. As long as he knows you do it with a true heart, and you do it consistently, and you try to live by his values that he set and died for, then you will be honored. You will be blessed in ways that you may not even imagine. And I'm not talking about winning the lotto. I mean, blessings come in all kinds of forms, even the smallest blessings. I mean, like, for instance, here's an example. The other day, my brother lost his wallet. He was freaking out, and he was yelling at everybody and stuff. And I was like, oh, Lord. So I prayed to St. Jude. Yes, I believe in saints. I prayed to St. Jude that he would find his wallet. Please, he's a good guy. He doesn't deserve this. And when you pray for someone else, that is major bonus points with the Lord. And I didn't do that to get major bonus points. It just had become instilled in me already. I was already like that, So I prayed, and sure enough, he found it within 15 minutes of me praying. He came home that he found it. He had dropped it on a delivery, and it was sitting in a ditch or something. So the chances of him finding it in that short of a time with everything intact was a very low chance, but yet he did. Those are the kind of miracles. There are miracles all around if you can just look. Like I said, I can find symbolism, beauty, miracles, everything, signs in anything, in anyone, no matter what. No matter what their crime, their lifestyle, whatever. Not to say I would, generally associate with them or become friends with them or hang with them, but I can still find value. Now, I want to also mention that within your society, in your community, I keep saying society, same thing. You are a civilized society. So, but within your community, there are religious people who are less open about their religious faith than they are about being gay or bisexual or transgendered or whatever they are in their community, because of the historical injustices that have been done to your community by supposed leaders of churches, and especially Catholics. I know you got it the hardest. I know. I was there. I saw it. I lived it, So I just want you to know that times are changing, even in religion, even in Catholicism. They're becoming more accepting. I'm seeing more LGBTQ open individuals going back to the Catholic churches. But if that's not for you, then there are churches that are non-denominational or are all-inclusive type churches that your community members go to, because they still believe in a creator behind the creation, and they want to honor that in their way while being accepted for who they are. So don't let your community members be ashamed to believe in Jesus or to believe in religion or have spirituality. Don't let them be ashamed of that, because you all have already fought enough to be recognized for who you are and your truth that you live. And their religious aspects are part of their truths. So please, respect that. And that's part of diversity that we need to embrace and love and accept. So I want to tell you, though, that, you don't have to believe in organized religion to love Jesus or to be spiritual or religious. Like I said, you can pray in your bedroom. You could pray in your car. You could pray in a chapel somewhere. It doesn't matter. Just as long as you pray. And praying is basically just having a conversation with God. Basically just talking to him, thanking him for the gifts in your life. You need to focus on what's positive in your life, what you do have, instead of the negatives and what you don't have, and what he has that I don't have, and what she has that I don't have, but I want. There's always going to be someone with a bigger cross to a bigger cross to burden themselves with than you. And that's what humbled me during my career life. You see, this never leaves me. And I don't care if it gets discolored. I don't care about anything. This is a blessed cross that I wear with me in the shower. It never comes off unless I have to get an MRI. And they make me, That's how I lost all my piercings. I used to have piercings like on my face and a bunch of piercings on my ears. And they were very tasteful piercings. And I got the battle scars that I'm very proud of my piercings. But yeah, they make me take off stuff like this, but this is with me at all times. And if you'll look here, they're not perfectly organized, but you'll see my God's Not Dead Newsboys bracelets. Got lots of them. And I got even more that I haven't put on, but these have been on me for years. And the Newsboys were a big part in my transition back to restoring my faith the way that I have. And I got to tell them that in person because I've seen them perform, and I've gotten to meet them and have conversations with them, and they have helped change my life dramatically. But the most dramatic changes happened when I had my last birthday, which was a milestone birthday. But again, I'm not going to tell you how old I am because I want you to think I'm younger than I am. And I started doing a change. And I did a complete 180 with my health. I started taking better care of myself. I took myself off of medications I had relied on for lots and lots of years because of a lot of the physical ailments that I have. I pretty much withdrew off of a lot of those medications. That was rough. That was like 3 months of hell. I changed my diet. I researched health supplements, and I made a whole new treatment plan for myself, which I do have experience in doing because of my nursing background and whatnot. I can do behavior plans. I can do all that. So I did a whole new treatment plan. And then I video conferenced with my primary care physician, who's been my primary care physician, Stanford educated physician for like 20 plus years. And we had a video conference because of the self-isolation thing. And I sent him a copy of the plan. We went over it step by step, and he approved of everything that I was taking, all the supplements I had added into, and what medications I took myself off of, and which ones I needed to stay on. And he put me on a new one to try and got rid of a different one. So it was a very good meeting. And with the exception of the insomnia that I still got to kind of work out, I'm doing so much better. You know, I started yoga. I'm working on relaxation techniques until they closed my gym because of this virus thing. So now I got to try and figure out how to continue my yoga at home and other important healthy factors. And part of the changes was me restoring the integrity and the intensity of my belief system. And I'm a believer, okay? I'm a diehard believer, and I will go to the grave never denying that. I don't care what's presented in front of me. But I want you to know that it's not just all, a belief system I was raised with. You know, even though I do believe in stuff like paranormal, supernatural, I love that kind of stuff, you know, and you know, I do believe in all that. But you should also know, because of my profession and my academic history and how far I got in education, I'm also a very facts-based person. So it only helped me to become more, my ponytail, my bun ponytail, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, my hair's pretty long, but I have it up right now. So anyway, I put a lot of faith in evidence, okay? And what has strengthened and restored my faith to the level that it is now, it was a gradual process, and it took me a long time to get here, trust me, because I experienced a lot of what you all experienced and what you all were fearful of, and I was pissed too, and I was scared too, and I was just like, screw it, you know? But I never stopped believing. I just never honored it like I should have, and trust me, I paid consequences for that. Now my life is so much better. Oh my God, I can't even tell you. But I'm not the kind of person who like rams things down your throat. I'm not the kind of person who'll say, you need to believe this, or you need to live this way, or you're going to go to hell and be damned and damn fire and damnation hell. I don't believe in any of that, okay? All I believe is in educating and letting you make the decision on what you want to do. If you want to believe, that's a right. That's a civil right, a constitutional right. The most basic right is the right to believe. But let me get back to the facts-based stuff, okay? Atheists and theists are both burdened with how the world began. Atheists believe in Darwin's philosophy of the Big Bang. No. And theists believe in that there was a creator, a divine deity, a God that created everything. Yeah, and I go for more for that. And let me tell you why. I've read Darwin's stuff, and people who follow Darwin and Stephen Hawking and all them, and their reasoning lacks reasoning. You know, they tend to repeat their points, which are intelligent points, but there's no real backup. I mean, like, for instance, Darwin would say that, you know, lightning struck a stagnant pool of chemicals and created something out of nothing because of gravity. But he never says, where did that water come from, or where did the lightning come from, or where did those chemicals of stagnant chemicals or whatever. He couldn't even, you know, he had no rebuttal from that. So some people just bought into the scientific stuff because they just believe too much in science and facts, which I do too, but I also have in my heart a faith too. So I put the two together and it made sense. So what I did was, what got me more strengthened is I started to look up facts, historical facts that Jesus did exist, that he did live, that he did have his apostles, that he was crucified by the Romans, that he did resurrect, and all of that. And the research started from a man named Dr. Rice Brooks, the author of God's Not Dead, where the movies came from. And he shows up in the movie, and he's written several books. So he's a great source to start from, but he's not the only source. There are atheists out there that were law enforcement detectives or journalists, people who believed in evidence and facts. And as atheists, they wanted to disprove Jesus. But what they found during their research was that all their research and all their years of evidence and research and everything proved Jesus did exist. There was just too much to prove that Jesus did not exist. There was just too much to prove that he existed. And so these former atheists have become Christians. And so that's one thing, And then another thing is, look at our clocks. Look at our time. Everything is BC, AD, things like that. I mean, that's a pretty tremendous feat if God or Jesus never existed, okay? And we're still running on that today. Where'd it come from? And then another point I want to make is that even just to put aside any bias that a believer might have in this evidence, is that most of the evidence came from atheists who were trying to disprove that Jesus existed. And even atheists that are still atheists to this day, that never converted to Christianity after learning the truth, that remained atheists, even have to admit, even if it's not readily admit, they have to admit that Jesus did exist. And because their research has proved it. And agnostics have even said Jesus existed whether we want to believe it or not. So the bottom line is, where do you derive your hope from? Everybody needs to have hope in their lives. Everybody. So where does yours derive from? Now, for Christians, it's the Bible. It's a fixed point of morality that we derive. Okay, we will not kill, we will not steal, we will not cheat, we will not, do all this kind of stuff. So we have a fixed point of morality. Now, I can't not say that atheists cannot be moral. Of course, there can be moral atheists, but what standard are you using to do that moral, to be moral, to do the right thing? Where are you getting that from? With us, it's the Bible. The Bible is a set of instructions that gives us that moral compass in which to follow, and instructions on how to live a good, non-judgmental life, where many people have contorted the Bible's meanings to be whatever they want it to mean for their own self-serving issues, whereas that's where, religion comes into play. I can go on and on about that, but I won't, because I don't want to bore you. But I just want you to know that the two can exist, okay? They can exist, and there's plenty of evidence to support that, okay? Plenty of evidence from theists, atheists, agnostics, people from all kinds of backgrounds, law enforcement, journalists, people who are interested in facts and statistics and historical documents and things and conspiracy theories and all this kind of stuff, especially like detectives, they look at conspiracy theories. So you make the decision. I just want to educate you and let you know there is nothing wrong with it. Please do not shame your fellow community members for believing, and please try to open your heart to the possibility of you accepting Jesus into your heart in your own way, not the way anybody else tells you to do, in your own way, and you will see your blessings, okay? So thank you so much for watching this video. I made it longer than I intended to. I apologize, but it's been a while since I've done a video, so I wanted to, talk about myself a little bit too. But if there's ever anything you want me to discuss, like I said, message me or comment or whatever, and I'll be happy to make more videos and bring awareness to any subjects, that you may want me to. I'm a member of several organizations such as GLAD, GLSEN, No Hate, bullying, wipe homophobia, the Trevor Project, everything. I mean, I'm a member of so many things and all kinds of social causes. So, I mean, I'm involved with a lot to help people. And what my religion and my belief system has allowed me to do is to do more of that with a kind heart, with an understanding heart, with a non-judgmental heart, and to be more accepting. I was always accepting, but yeah, I'll have to admit, in my younger days, I could be judgmental. I mean, a lot of Californians were like that back then, and a lot of them still are. I mean, look at Hollywood. Not everybody in Hollywood's bad. Okay, I get it, but you know what I'm saying. But anyway, but it has allowed me to be more passionate in helping others and doing good and helping the usually underrepresented and underprivileged and people who don't usually have people to advocate for themselves. I'm an advocate, an ally, an activist. I'm a volunteer. I'm a supporter. I'm a everything. I'm a godmother to everybody's kids. I have tons of kids that I did not give birth to. So anyway, thank you. Please follow me if you would like to learn more about anything to do with psychology, anything to do with law, anything to do with business, as I have expertise in all those, anything medically or nursing related. If I don't have the answers, I can research them for you, and I know credible research methods. Obviously, I'm in doctorate school, so I have to know credible research even in order to write my assignment. So thank you. I love all of you. I really do. And thank you for supporting me all these years, all you loyal followers that have followed me all these years. And I look forward to gaining more followers. So please share this video and what I posted about the LGBTQIA plus and the Jesus thing that I posted on my Twitter. Again, my Twitter is capital T, INA, F as in Flores, capital T, capital X. So it's Tina F TX. No spaces, dots, nothing. It's just all together. Okay? Thank you. God bless. Have a great day. And I hope your week is better, and do your best to be the best for others. And you can only be the best for others when you're the best to yourself. Love you. Peace out. Peace.